right, the first story that we are focusing on in today's India Global is the latest situation that's unfolding in Bangladesh. In fact, there's lots happening right now in Bangladesh, and let's take that one by one. First and most important bit, that is that Bangladesh's interim government is now seeking Interpol to repatriate former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. She is in India on asylum, and the Yunus government is now seeking Interpol's help to issue a red corner notice for the former Prime Minister. An interim government has accused Sheikh Hasina of brutal, quote-unquote, suppression. Now, what really happens in the event of a red corner notice? How does it function? Remember, Interpol is a multinational, multi-nation police agency that's headquartered in France. How does it work? Can it really ensure the repatriation that Bangladesh's interim government wants to? Let's first take a look at this report that my colleague Disha Bakshi has filed to really understand what this red corner notice is all about. Then we come back and talk more about the big picture that's unfolding in Bangladesh.
What is a Interpol notice? So an Interpol notice is essentially an international alert which helps share any sort of information about a criminal or any sort of information about a crime that could be taking place, as well as information about missing persons, as well as missing or unidentified dead bodies in some cases. So it is an international alert to share information about crimes between various member nations. So it is an alert that is shared between the police forces of these member nations to help exchange information about the whereabouts of a criminal or who is accused in a member nation or any sort of other criminal activity. Now, these Interpol notices are color-coded. As I mentioned, the Yunus government is attempting to issue a red notice, which is for wanted persons and persons who are facing trial in a particular member nation. Now, some other color-coded notices are the blue notice, which basically seeks additional information about the whereabouts of a certain wanted person, whether it comes to their location, and any other such details that could be crucial in order to apprehend them. Now, the Interpol's green notice is for warnings and intelligence. So it is to share intelligence on any sort of warning between member nations of a possible attack or a possible criminal hiding in a particular member nation. Now, in terms of yellow notice, it is for missing persons. So in case, and this notice is used for minor individuals, if they are, say, missing in a particular country, this notice is used to share information in case any information about the missing person has been found, or the person itself has been found in, say, another member nation. So these are some of the color-coded notices that help the police forces of these different member nations exchange information in an efficient...
Okay, so that is really to understand what the Interpol can possibly do. There are several notices that it can issue. Now, Sheikh Hasina, with regard to Sheikh Hasina, Mohammad Yunus's government is now seeking a red corner notice. And after that, it wants extradition or repatriation, actually, of Sheikh Hasina back, because it feels that the brutal suppression that happened under her regime needs to now be accounted for. And along with that, there are parallel other latest developments that are taking place in Bangladesh. I'm going to quickly now open this up with the guests who are joining me on the show, Salim Samad as well as Raza Karim, to really understand the latest that's unfolding in Bangladesh. In fact, Raza Karim, let me start with you. Two things have happened. One is the fact that a red corner notice is being sought. It hasn't been issued. It's being sought from Interpol. Parallelly, there are now, there's a clamor that's growing within the Awami League, which wants now and is knocking on the doors of the ICC, because it feels that Mohammad Yunus's government is also undertaking genocide. They've actually used the word genocide, quote unquote. So months after the turmoil that engulfed Bangladesh, it seems that normalcy is still some time away. Instead of bridging these divides, Unfortunately, it seems that those factions are only growing.
You are right. Thank you. In this aspect, both the issue is logical. If you talk about the one you said about the Bangladesh, the filing case against chief advisor, that has some causes, and also again the red notice by Interpol, that has also good causes, because in Bangladesh currently against ex-Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, there are a lot of cases filed against her, and all those cases were related with against the humanity, against her killing the students in Almas, and her orders to the law enforcement agencies to kill the students and kill the common people. So this was aggressive act from ex-Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And again, about the filing case against a chief advisor, that has also caused is that after 5th August to 8th August, the one they have mentioned in their case under Article 15 Rome Statute, under that clause, they have filed a case under
Major
ICC
Raza,
and
Major
mentioned.
Raza, I'll let you finish your point. Just one thing I want to say. In fact, let's quickly tell our viewers the big questions that we are in fact asking with regard to why what is happening in Bangladesh warrants the discussion. What is really unfolding there? There are two things parallelly happening. There are two agencies that are being knocked on by two different sets of political parties. One reaching out to Interpol, the second reaching out to the ICC, both demanding action against the other political outfit. Finish your point now, Major Raza, and then I get in Salim Samad.
Thank you. So you are right. So from the ICC, if the ICC accept the case from Awami League, then ICC also take it into consideration that what happened before 5th August. Because before 5th August, there are a lot of mass killing. So if you call it, if you term it as genocide after 5th August, then what happened before 5th August, that must be taken into consideration. That is also part of genocide.
Fair enough.
So,
let me now get in Salim Samad on this. Salim Samad, now the question is very, very clear, which is that as these parallel agencies are being brought into the picture, as parallel probes are being sought, one by the Awami League, second by the political opponents of Awami League, which are now in power right now, what happens to Bangladesh? What happens to the whole aspiration of walking towards normalcy? How far away is now Bangladesh from that goal?
Thank you for having me. First of all, you are possibly concerned about the two agencies. ICC is definitely a different entity where the Awami League leaders who have filed case against Professor Yunus. Unfortunately, Professor Yunus was not in power. She was out of the country. He has not taken oath on Dr. Yunus, in fact, took oath on the 8th, and their allegation is against Bangladesh or the leaders of Bangladesh or the management of the administration of Bangladesh. From 5th to 8th, where there was no government at all. There was no police, there was no law enforcement, there was no administration. It's absolutely a chaotic situation from the up to the 8th.
Okay, so has chaos ended now? I take your point that Mohammed Yunus, Professor Yunus was not in government then. My question is very simple, which is that has chaos ended now?
What kind of chaos you're talking about?
You tell me. There is one political outfit knocking on the doors of Interpol, one knocking on the doors of ICC.
Okay, Interpol. So let's talk about Interpol. Interpol, if you look into the website, you'll find hundreds of international terrorists are on the list. Interpol hadn't done much about getting those terrorists or the most wanted people. It was very hardly they have found somebody to take them to the court. So this is one issue. If you look into whatever the terrorists there, if you're talking about Al-Qaeda, if you're talking about ISIS, they have done nothing. So I am not very hopeful about Interpol. Interpol is much, yes, you can definitely point your fingers and say, yes, there is has been included in the red notice of the most wanted. That's it.
Major Raza, I have two questions. Okay, two questions I'm going to ask to both of you. First is the fact that there seems to be a certain shift in the position of Bangladesh which had earlier said that they will not be seeking a repatriation of Sheikh Hasina. They would not be seeking her extradition. And now there is the Law Minister of Bangladesh making it very clear that they want extradition, and they are, of course, knocking on the doors of Interpol. The question is, what has changed?
Actually, basically, you need to understand that where the current government is focusing. Current government is mostly focusing for the interest of the nation. And accordingly, Dr. Mohammed Yunus and his advisors, they are seriously working to build the nation, build the country, because previously, before 5th August, there are a lot of turmoils went through. So all on a sudden, you cannot repair everything. But again, after 5th August, for certain period, there was no government, actually no authoritarian. So after 8th August, the new advisor, chief advisor and his team.
No, my question was what has changed? I was not asking you for chronology, sir. I understand that.
I'm coming to your point. So the change is that actually the moment the government is trying to bring certain positive changes, right at that moment, the Awami League and the other associated agencies, they are not cooperating. Especially that our law enforcing agency that is not still repaired. Our especially internal domestic, our discipline is not still okay. Our forces and our paramilitary forces, our border guards, our internal disciplinary forces, all of them are working together. But we need certain time.
Right. It's been 96 days, sir. It's been 96 days since the political upheaval started in Bangladesh, and it felt that maybe it is inching towards normalcy. These developments seem to indicate that isn't the case. Salim Samad, right. Salim Samad, I have one question. I'll come back to you, sir. I'll come back to you, sir. Yeah. Okay, finish your point. Finish your point. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the reason our national election time is not declared, because the country is still not stable. If the country would have been declared stable, then the election, national
Fair
election...
enough. Elections are not being announced because you don't know when stability will return. Yeah. But the other side to it, Salim Samad, is that now there is a decision that's been taken by the government that whatever decisions this interim government will take will hold true. As and when elections take place, as and when a new Prime Minister comes in, these decisions, the ones that are being taken right now, will not be tested in court. Is there a sense in some intellectual quarters in Bangladesh that this indicates that it is moving away from accountability? Is the Mohammed Yunus government moving away from accountability to its people?
I'm not sure what you are talking about describing to accountability. The accountability has never been implemented in Bangladesh since the liberation in 1971. So let's not talk about accountability and transparency and I'm a democratic institution, which is totally absent. So you cannot expect Yunus to overnight, make those institutions to grow in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. What I'm trying to tell you that Professor Yunus has time and again has mentioned, even to the Indian media, you must have read that the trial until the verdict of the trial of Sheikh Hasina in the Bangladesh court, that the deportation or the repatriation or the extradition will not take place.
Sure.
So this is one issue. And let me tell you one thing. He will not process this case until and unless the United Nations Human Rights Commission, which is already supposed to submit a report in the month of December. So obviously, this court will also not process the case of against Hasina, especially for crime against humanity.
Right. Okay. So lots of developments lined up. Let's see how soon the normalcy that everybody has been hoping for actually comes back. Major Raza, Salim Samad, thanks so much for speaking to me on India Global. In fact,